least bring a few on. The commander and the chief, all my crew on. Bullets rattling and whistle at your toque. Never sleep, eyes open, hands clutching on my loot. It's a war zone. It's a war zone. Yo, this a motherfucking war zone. It's a war zone. Yeah, feel the impact. Yeah, break it open, leaving nothing f***ing intact. Hey yo, you been hacked. You're safe, hard in, but I found it, homie, been cracked. Hey yo, we been back. Your band stacking, see you flexing with the thin stack. Hey bitch, you been whacked. I kill 'em all, feel a motherfucking impact. Yo, this a war zone, homie, say you ready and prepared. Take a minute and make them aware. Well, I be sneaking in the back, but it's worth the clap, homie, life ain't fair. Caught me crawling through the mud with a vision, saw it clearly. Born a shepherd to these sheep, make them fear me. This a war zone, trashed out, trap house, nothing ever given. Yeah, every day's a blessing, thank the Lord, oh how I'm living. See me riding with my top down, oh cops round, pedal pressing on the gas. I don't think I'll ever stop.
They all thought I wouldn't make it. They all think that you're faking, but seeing ain't believing. I know now. I take all your stupid, burn it as my fuel, yeah. 'Cause we're running out of time, so I'm gonna make it mine.
The chosen one, I'm not the one to underestimate. I want the throne, I learn to crush obstruction, rush through barricades, levitate. Got it tatted on me, told them follow me. They see the vision, now it's 2020, clear as Tahoe Lakes, clear as day. No longer move around in fear, disarray. Pray you hear me like the winter wind against your window pane. Feel the bass, baby, soak it in and let it marinate. It's time to hustle, gotta muscle up and run through barricades, yeah. One, I'm not the one to underestimate. I want the throne, I learn to crush obstruction, rush through barricades, levitate. Got it tatted on me, told them follow me. They see the vision, now it's 2020, clear as Tahoe Lakes, as clear as day. No longer move around in fear, disarray. Pray you hear me like the winter wind against your window pane. Feel the bass, baby, soak it in and let it marinate. It's time to hustle, gotta muscle up and run through barricades, yeah.
I got their opinions, and I got mine. I used to care what they said about me. Now I ain't got the time. Taking on me, take a seat, it's okay. Start again, touch sleep, but know me. Still about the love, nothing's changed. Yeah, I don't play that game. 'Cause we're running out of time. So I gotta make
I give in to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied.
Hello and welcome to PlayVS High School Rocket League MSAA Championship Finals. My name is the Doxology. Alongside me today is Caribou. And the PlayVS Cup is the culmination of the scholastic year of esports excellence. So you want to make sure that you block out June, because that is going to be an amazing month. All 2020 and 2021 fall and spring season high school and youth championship teams are invited to go head to head to determine a single champion across League of Legends, Rocket League, and Fortnite. So that is something that you are definitely not going to want to miss. But today's championship in the MSAA is between the number 1 seed, the Wachu Leaguers, and the number 3 seed, the SHS CEOs. Caribou, this is going to be a really good matchup. We see the bracket right here as they both went through the best of 5 and now into this championship series, which is a best of 7.
Yeah, being able to watch a 1 seed and a 3 seed, the 3 seed being the defending champions, to come back here again in the championship game, high expectations. Both of them had immense amounts of success during the regular season and only dropping a combined 5 games between the two teams in this 16-man bracket. This is a couple of very high success teams that will be very disappointed if they don't walk away and finish this playoffs with a championship.
Well, they both have gone through their own gambit throughout the season. You look at their records in the regular season, the Wachu Leaguers 8-0 with 0 tied, and then the CEOs 7-1 with just that one loss. But you look at kind of their rounds, the Wachu Leaguers did give up 4 games throughout the season, and the CEOs only 6 games. So just a couple games apart. The playoffs were something a little bit different. The Wachu Leaguers actually lost 4 games in their playoff matches, while the CEOs only gave up 1 singular game all playoffs long. So they're coming in extremely hot, and I would keep an eye on the 3 seed to upset the 1 seed.
If we're going to call it through with seeding as the upset, I think once you get to the championship game, it's just expectations of, both of these teams have deserved and earned their spot here. So it's probably going to be a 5, 6, 7 game set. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this one go the distance. It's going to be well contested. And there is a very real possibility that the 3 seed does walk away as a champion here at the end of today's event.
Absolutely. And of course, a 7-game series gives you all the good joy to kind of feel out exactly what their team's going to do, show your hand early, or maybe you hold back a little bit and allow the other team to really expose what they're capable of doing in that first or second game. And then you just take the next one. We've seen a couple of these championships wrap up very quickly where a team has lost that first game and then come back and won the next 4. And so really, I think we're going to see this first game kind of be a slower, methodical push from both of these teams and seeing that offensive go. As game 1 is right around the corner, we're just about ready to get going. Caribou, any thoughts on what you expect to see in this first game?
I'm looking forward to seeing some high tempo, high paced action, because this is kind of how you get, like you said, you get the feel for your opponents, right? So this is the opportunity where if you want to come out swinging, this is the best time and the best place to do it. Full send it. Just make sure your rotations are good enough you can get back on defense if you do have 2, 3 people in the attacking zone. But I want to see 5, 6 goals from one team here.
5, 6 goals is a possibility. 5 minutes on the clock as game 1 of the Play versus High School Rocket League Championship for the MSAA is underway. The Wachu Leaguers in the orange, the CEOs in the white. You see Tokyo, Bebo, and Sync for the Wachu Leaguers, and Sky, Luster, and Trevor for the CEOs. And 20 seconds down, and there's already a shot on goal. That just goes wide from the CEOs. Bebo has to clear it out. 0 boost, though. Tokyo has to go up for it and try to bounce it up. That's a floater. You see Sky just kind of patiently watching it, plays it off the wall in the corner, and that gives pretty much all of the teammates and everybody on the field to pick up some of that boost and carry it on. As a little backflip shot, and Tokyo is able to get the rebound, and the Wachu Leaguers showing why they're the 1 seed strike first with 4:13 remaining in game 1.
Yeah, Trevor makes a good save there, but Sky and Luster just out of the picture. Luster trying to boost over and get back in front of that one, and Trevor's out of position. But they had maybe 25 or 30 boosts across all 3 players combined. The CEOs just put backs against the walls. Wachu Leaguers kept the pressure on. They monopolized the boost, and they're not letting SHS have any say to try to get out of their defensive zone.
3:57 remaining in this game. You see the midfield battle continuing on as the Wachu Leaguers have that 1-goal lead. Luster now with a shot on goal. Tokyo is able to clear it out and get it cleared almost to the corner. You see a couple miscues and a good pass to get that bounced forward. A lot of physical play along the boards. Luster now playing it off the wall. That's a good center, but Bebo's right there. Does Sky stop it? He does. That's a floater. Tokyo trying to clear it out. Trevor meets it in the air for the CEOs and continues the attack. You see how quickly the rotations are going. A lot of boost utilized, as not a lot of boost on the CEOs as they finally collect 2 full boosts with Trevor and Sky, and that gives them an opportunity for an attack. See a little bit of a miscue. Now Trevor playing it off the wall, and Sky having to get back to it. 3:02 remaining in this game. A lot of back and forth here. Some really good defense by the Wachu Leaguers, though.
Yeah, and a complete change of basically the storyline from what we just saw out of the first goal from the Wachu Leaguers. All of a sudden, the CEOs have got the ball the other side of the field. They've kept it there. They've applied a lot of pressure to Wachu Leaguers. The defense, as you said, has stepped up here and been able to stop this, but this is a completely different team than what we saw in the opening 60 seconds from the CEOs.
As Luster sneaks one in, 2:33 remaining. You see, he just plays that really, really well to utilize break, turn around, and boost to it as the defense overcommits to one side, and a heads-up play by Luster to put the CEO back in contention and tied up with half of this game gone.
Yeah, and Luster, one of those just mechanically gifted players, a sophomore in high school, recognizing the talent on this team. They got a third placement in a national high school tournament not too long ago. So this team, no strangers to success, especially as the defending champions here in the state championship for the high school. But having national success as well, certainly a team that is very used to being in this position.
Another attacking possession for the CEO. Sky keeps it midfield. That's a big demo, as now Tokyo switches the attack for the Wachu Leaguers. That's met by Trevor, but Tokyo pushes it back into the attacking corner. You see Sky bouncing it free. Now Luster coming up. Can Tokyo get back? Sky redirects it. Oh my goodness, the touch from Sky right there to put that into the back of the net. You see how quickly things can change as Sky just taps it to redirect it into the goal. That was a beautiful, beautiful move by both Luster and Sky. It's exciting to see how well these players have crafted their skill. But this is the third season that Sky has played in this Play versus Rocket League tournament. And Tokyo now answering back quickly to tie things up. Honestly, the Wachu Leaguers didn't give any time in that at all, as Sync goes up, a nice center, just beats out Sky and Luster. Luster almost got a touch on it, but a great response with 1:25 remaining in this game. We've got a tie ball game, Caribou.
Very quick answer right there for the Wachu Leaguers, and it's a great sign that they can strike back that fast. Watching the CEOs have a good clinical 1-2-1 play to go down the field and score, but then the Wachu Leaguers being able to have a nice center and a good attack, be able to sneak one past the defenders, shows the offensive prowess of both of these teams. And we talk about how often the CEOs have been here. This is the first time a new challenger has arrived for the Wachu Leaguers in the 1 seed. So they are the ones that came in on top, and they're expecting to leave by the end of the day on top as well.
47 seconds remain. The CEOs are making a push real quick late in the game. They've got a 1-2 right here. Sky is got an open goal. I mean, that was just a quick overcommit. You see Bebo come up, Tokyo come up, and you see Sync was there as well. Nobody could quite get back, and Sky just played that rebound so incredibly well off that corner wall and into the back of the net, and now the CEOs with a lead.
Yeah, and exactly that. Just a little overcommit on the defensive front. Really not much more than just a breakdown in communication, and the CEOs take advantage of that position, which is something we've seen in high-level Rocket League play. There are not many chances you're going to see where the other team makes a mistake, and when they do, you have to capitalize every single time.
15 seconds remain in this game 1 of the Play versus High School Rocket League Championships, or the MSAA. The final few seconds tick off. Now, the beautiful thing about Rocket League is as long as that ball is in the air, it is live. Tokyo keeps it up. It's really just down to whether it touches down. There it is right there, as the CEOs taking game 1, and honestly a 3-2 victory for the CEOs is a great start for them. Really, both teams kind of had a little bit of an attack. We split that up almost into segments. You see the replays here. Sky, Tokyo, everybody getting in on it right in that first minute, and then Luster with a beautiful goal that he snuck by. A lot of great movement, good 1-2 pass from Sync and Tokyo to tie things up. Honestly, the touch from Sky. That goal was just probably my favorite in that game. But Caribou, we saw, I would say, not necessarily a lot of physicality, not too much, not too many demos, not too much bumping and things like that. Are you going to expect to see maybe they pick up the tempo even more and play a little bit more physical?
I don't know if it's necessarily like a necessity for either of these teams. I think they're finding success to get around the defense, to make their own opportunities. Their passing game is working pretty efficiently on both sides without that disruption of aggression. Maybe you're going to see a bump to try to open up the defensive spot, but beyond that, I don't think the aggression is not yet at that point of desperation.
Well, the CEOs have a 1-game lead in this best of 7 series. Game 2 right around the corner. We can see if the Wachu Leaguers, the 1 seed, have the answer to come back. And we've seen it before where teams have just made that post game 1 adjustment and absolutely run away with it. So we'll see how exactly they do that right now as game number 2 is underway in the MSAA Championship Finals. Sky with a shot on goal. That was off the post. That was a beautiful opportunity for the CEOs right off the bat within the first 10 seconds, Caribou.
Yeah, those first 10 seconds are always lethal coming off the kickoffs. Just everyone trying to get in rotation, trying to get enough boost to be able to position themselves for the rotation setup. And if you're able to strike in that period of weakness, then you might be creating a little bit of an advantage there for yourself. But fortunately, Wachu Leaguers get out of that one scot-free. Shot goes wide, and now send it back the other way. But expect, again, small bursts of success from both of these teams to see where the goals are going to come in.
Sky playing it off the boards. 5 boosts to his name. Can't really go anywhere with it. Picks up 12 more and is able to play a double bounce off Bebo. And honestly, Sky, with almost no boost at all, was able to get a shot on goal. You got to credit him for that. And now he does get a shot on goal. Another big save by Bebo, utilizing a lot of boost. Midfield, Luster now pushes in to the attacking zone. There's a big demo along the boards. You see Bebo clear that out, but Sky centering it up for Trevor. Trevor plays it off the wall. Does he get the double bounce? And he does! Trevor with a beautiful aerial double bounce off the backboard, throwing it into the back of the net for the first goal of game 2.
And a lot of this is starting off of what Sky is doing. I mean, we saw that first attack with Sky on 12 boost, maybe. Picked up another small little boost pad there in the corner, but being able to get by almost all 3 defenders single-handedly, then winning out the 50 in the corner to set that one up. Trevor just had to pitch and catch, get the nice double touch, and get that one up for the CEOs.
Trevor now on the attack again for the CEO. Sky comes in and beats the defender, going aerial and going postal. Check out this shot by Sky. The redirect in the air with the boost to throw it into the lower right. I mean, that's textbook aerial shot calling right there for the CEOs.
Yeah, Sky really just got to turn the momentum up here, turn up the intensity single-handedly for the CEOs, and is playing significantly better. But that one is just Trevor paying the favor back. You know, Sky won the 50 in the corner to give Trevor the goal. Trevor just plays it off the wall and leaves it up for Sky. Says, here you go.
3:02 remaining in game number 2. The CEOs with a 2-goal lead. The Wachu Leaguers, the 1 seed. The CEOs, the 3 seed, coming into this championship series. A big demo along the boards as Luster tries to get this cleared out. The Wachu Leaguers on the attack. You see Sky, Trevor, and Luster all back for the CEOs. Good rotation. And now trying to clear it out. Sink gets it back into the attacking zone. Plays it in the corner. Bebo with a nice center, but Trevor is right there to knock that clear.
Leaguers had a couple of opportunities there. Bebo had one that went a little bit wide in the initial attack. It was a 2v1. They had numbers advantage. And the CEOs right now are fortunate that the Wachu Leaguers have not finally capitalized on this opportunity that they've had, and they haven't come through to get a goal back. You know, as time's ticking, it's going to be more and more of a problem as we get farther into this game.
See Trevor trying to play it off the wall. Trevor, Sky, and Luster all back for the CEOs. That's a beautiful center, but nobody's there to get it. Tokyo has to come up, and now the rotation is on full effect as Tokyo tries to get aerial. Sky goes into the Sky to hit that into the midfield area, and Bebo and Sink Trevor with an amazing disruption of that pass. It looked like Bebo was going to perfectly center that to sync as they were in sync, but Trevor knocks him out of sync, no problem.
Yeah, a good challenge. That's one of the things that really makes defenses significantly better. And they tried to go for a little pinch right there, and I respect that effort. The ball just goes high instead of going directly forward. But the defense of the CEOs being able to step up, have that level of confidence that you're going to step up to challenge whoever's on the attack and win the 50. The stop is just big brain, 200 IQ. I respect the confidence you have in yourself as a player to recognize that you have that talent.
Sky with a big save right in front of the goal, and he chases it all the way down. We're into the final 60 seconds of game 2. The CEOs with a 1-goal lead now as the Wachu Leaguers are able to get one back. And this is still a close ball game. You know how quickly things can change. With just a 1-goal lead, that is really not the cushion you want in a championship series like this.
And Tokyo had the option right there to go around and take the shot that he did, or to try to get a little bump off to the left side to hand it off to Bebo, who was on the back post ready in a 2-on-1 situation again. So Wachu Leaguers, again, find themselves number advantage against the CEOs on defense, and they capitalize on it, but all of a sudden, we seen in game 1 how fast they can strike back immediately. Lester's just in position, a little bit of a fake out, the defense rotates back, they don't challenge in time, and they leave the net wide open.
Luster putting the CEOs back up by 2 with 41 seconds remaining, and now that's a floater in front of the goal. Does Sky go up for it? He does, and quickly puts another goal on the board for the CEOs. You see Trevor just floated that up. Bebo can't get back quick enough. Tokyo went up for it, but having to go all the way to get that full boost and then work his way back into midfield, just not quick enough to make that stop. And the CEOs now have that cushion that they wanted to see if they can finish out this game 2 and go to a 2-game lead in this best-of-7 series.
Yeah, having the 2-goal lead, it builds a little bit of comfort as to where you're at in the current game, but then adding on a 3rd one on top, adding on a 4th one on top even, all of a sudden the CEOs showing that intensity they started this game out with, putting up those first 2 goals to take that lead 2-1. They're just moving a little bit faster than the Wachu Leaguers. They're getting to the ball first. Their shots are on target, and they're able to get around the defenders, and that's the difference maker in this game alone.
I mean, you talk about the CEOs too. Trevor alone has been playing Rocket League for 5 years already. Came in 2nd in a high school tournament that pocketed him $500,000. So the last 5 seconds are going to tick off in game number 2, and the CEOs are going to move on to a 2-game lead. And honestly, you see the beautiful plays from each team, but then you've got an equal save amount. You've got a lot of team effort between Sky and Luster. The way that they are working the ball around is kind of incredible right now, Caribou.
Yeah, they're really just completely all on the same page. Like, you saw a little bit of maybe confusion on game number 1, where there's small bursts of success for both teams realistically, but this one, all of a sudden, the CEOs, I mean, just come out swinging. They had a shot on in the first 10 seconds to nearly put them up 1-0 that early. They were able to score the next 2, and after that, they really just kept the pressure up. The Wachu Leaguers never really had a chance to get back, and then after that, the last 45 seconds of them to 3 goals, icing on the cake. The CEOs have certainly showed up to play, but we've seen already from other series, just because you win one game in a convincing fashion, this next game could be a 1-0 final going the other way.
Absolutely. We've seen it before where, you know, a team will take one game 6-0 and the next game they'll lose 1-0. You know, and it becomes a completely different defensive battle. So there is that possibility for the Wachu Leaguers at the 1 seed to make the corrections that they want to. And you look at their regular season, they were 24-4. They only dropped 4 games, and they've already dropped 2 here in this series. So of course they're facing a whole nother level of competition, but they have what it takes. They have the utilization of their team to make the corrections and the experience of their team to make those corrections. And I expect to see that here in game 3.
Yeah, and we'll see, just because they are, you know, the new challengers to the to the Massachusetts Championships, you know, against the defending champs who've had a lot of success. But the fact that you do have a 24-4 season, you go 8-0 in all of the series in the best ofs. Obviously, you're doing something right across the regular season to get to this point, and you got to have full confidence that this is a championship caliber team that's going to have an answer very quickly to what their breakdowns were in game number 2.
There's a big demo along midfield, right at that full boost. Sky trying to play it along the wall. He does. Bebo goes up for it, but little miscommunication as Tokyo takes it from him and pushes it back against the wall. You see Trevor pick up some boost and then play it along the edge. He was going for that full boost, but it didn't respawn fast enough. Now Trevor just goes ahead and takes a shot off the wall. That was actually right on the money too. A good save by Sink, but Trevor really working himself into a great position. Tokyo with the shot on goal. That goes high. Oh my goodness. I thought that had the opportunity to drop in over the defense. Just high. Now Bebo having to meet it midfield. Tokyo tips it up. You see Luster playing kind of back, and then he rotates forward for the CEOs. Good rotation by the CEOs. If you kind of keep an eye on that in the background, you see Luster all the way back there, but he's able to come up and contest that off the wall and then clear it out. Now he chases. I mean, just textbook right now from the CEOs.
Yeah, and that demo right there potentially saving, but yeah, the CEOs got their P's and Q's. The Watcher Leaguers, you know, you see them with 2 people way up front, like they're already ready for a counterattack, trying to get a 2-on-1 advantage, which is what they've had success with, getting numbers advantages and then exploiting the defensive weakness there from the CEOs. But not having those come to fruition here in the first couple of minutes this time around. And the CEOs, like you said, their rotations are on point, and Sky made all the difference in the last game, getting so many 50s, so many challenges, so many setups and assists, taking this one in the air, side to side, to give him the first goal.
I mean, Sky has been living in the sky, and maybe that's why his name is Sky, because he is so good at the aerial attack, the control. You saw him bounce the ball off, utilize a double jump, and still be able to put a little bit of extra English on it to keep the ball down and into the back of the net. As Luster, a big save. The CEOs with a 1-goal lead with 2:40 remaining in this game 3. They've got a 2-game lead in this best of 7 series. So they are already applying a lot of pressure and really just kind of playing their game. They're playing their style. I don't feel like they're, really trying to do anything flashy or fancy. They're just having a good time out there.
They're just kind of playing Rocket League, and just, the basic fundamentals is really all you need to have. You don't have to do anything crazy or impressive. You don't have to have any crazy squishy saves or musty flicks or anything like that. I mean, if you just get passes off, win your 50s, and get yourself in position, then you're going to have a good amount of success, and that's what we've seen so far.
Sky coming at all 3 defenders, trying to power it through. Trevor now releases back, and he plays it all the way back by his goal, taking it aerial to midfield. Now he centers it up for his teammate. Luster is right there.
Yep.
And that was just a beautiful play, all made possible by Trevor's control through and through, picking up that full boost along the corner, working it into the midfield, and then centering it up for Luster to hammer it home.
And that's just the patience right there. Trevor carrying that one in the air for so long to that midfield. You already saw the camera pan over. That one was set up 15 seconds before it even happened. And you watch the center, you watch the pass, and Sky did a great job as the unsung hero in that one to fake out the only defender on the goal line. At that point, just opened the door for Luster to get the shot on, just make it accurate. And the CEOs said, it's nothing flashy, it's nothing crazy, it's fundamental Rocket League, and it's working.
Trevor following up a shot, trying to push a 2-goal lead to a 3-goal lead. The CEOs not allowing any mistake to be unanswered as Luster takes the ball. You see, it's cleared out kind of by Tokyo, bounced through, but Luster's there for the rebound and the putback, the overcommits. All 3 of the Wachu Leaguers were in that corner, and that's where the rotations are going to have to take place a little bit more. 1:01 remaining in this game 3. And the CEOs, with the 3-goal lead, are feeling very confident right now in this MSAA championship final.
Yeah, you can just kind of feel the amount of pressure they're applying, that the Watcher Leaguers at a point where a little bit of kind of panic is setting in, where it's, okay, all of a sudden you're down 3-0 in the series. You don't want to lose this game. You have to do something about that right now if you don't want to. But now at this point, it's going to be one of those where you didn't want to lose this game because your back is now going to be against the wall for the rest of the series, as it's going to be game 3 to the CEOs, and they only have to win one more. The Watcher Leaguers have to win everything from here on out, and that reality probably starting to set in.
Starting to set in indeed, as again, the CEOs just textbook pitch and catch. I mean, they're playing so incredibly well. How these teams have utilized really just what they're best at. And like I said before, I just don't feel like the CEOs feel pressured. They're just having fun. They're playing fundamental Rocket League. But not only that, I honestly feel like they're kind of just pushing the feelings of how many good shots that they can get on goal. And if you're the Watcher Leaguers, they need to find a way to slow down that passing and that communication. I mean, a 4-0 win, that's a big one. You see 4 shots on goal by Sky, but you could have taken any of those players. Luster with a couple goals, Trevor making beautiful opportunities for those goals, and Sky as well. So really, the Watcher Leaguers going into their first elimination, their first game that is make or break for them, they have to find a way to disrupt those passes. They have to find a way to really, stop what the CEOs are doing in some way, shape, or form. And I don't know how they're going to do that the way that the CEOs are playing.
Yeah, just watching teams play, there's a level of success that teams will have significantly more often when you have high assist percentages in your goals. And that's exactly what we see the CEOs doing. They are playing the ball off very well. They're passing it. Virtually every single goal they've scored has been assisted. And when you have that level of success, you have that mobility of the ball to move around the defense, then you're going to see a lot of points put up because the defense will just continuously break down. It's a lot easier to find those holes, find the mistakes on the other side. The Watcher Leaguers just have to be a little more disciplined because we've seen overcommits. We've seen 3 of them in the corner at the same time. They just have to be able to, okay, you go challenge, you go stay, and then you go on the boost to cover the back post. Like, just be able to kind of play more clinical defense to understand there's an attack coming from all angles from a very good CEO's offense.
And I do think that the Watcher Leaguers will make those connections. There's a reason they're the 1 seed. They have set their tone before. They've been able to take some tough games and really, really power home. I mean, you think about it. They only lost 4 regular season games.
Yeah.
So they definitely know how to win. Now it's down to, will they execute in these final few games and push it to a game 5, a game 6, and eventually a game 7, as Sky with a beautiful shot, aerial shot. You see how it's made possible by Luster just clearing it all the way up. You see how high Sky had got to redirect that ball into the back of the net, and the CEO is firing on all cylinders right now, continuing their offensive prowess.
Yeah, and that's just a great one, too. Recognizing your teammates up in the air, ready for the pass at midfield. Just gets up before and higher than the lone defender that's at midfield. So, very, again, fundamental Rocket League, just understanding where your teammates are, where they're going to be. And that also just shows the experience that these guys have playing together. I mean, you look at their track records, 3 seasons in PlayVS, 4 seasons, 5 seasons. Like, they have been around the block a time or two. As they're defending champions, this is a team that this is not surprising to see this cohesion from.
And you look on the other side, the Watcher Leaguers, almost every player 1 season in PlayVS. So they're still finding their way into this, and they've done extremely well in their first season. You think about some of the other players. I mean, you talked about it. You got 3, 4, 5 seasons in PlayVS for the CEOs. The Watcher Leaguers are really the new kids on the block coming up and providing high-class Rocket League all the way through and through. And I think they're going to take a lot away from this game and say, you know what, this is what we're capable of doing. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these players in the championship game next season, as the CEOs continually attack and put another goal on the board. You see Sky come up and then play that aerial all the way through. You see just the control that it takes to redirect that ball in the air. 3:24 remaining, and the CEOs have a 2-goal lead. And really, they have that control. You see throughout this whole series, I've felt like they have just played and had a good time at their pace.
And that's just showcasing the CEOs' skills that they have across the board. Sky, I mean, Sky's won so many 50s, had so many good passes, had so many good shots to set the team up for success. But that goal is all individual effort from Sky. That one as well. I mean, just being able to play that one off the wall, play off the bounce, you win the 50 out of the corner, being able to get the double touch, beating the defenders there. Everyone else from the Watcher Leaguers just playing kind of reactively and gets caught chasing the previous goal. Sky just carrying that one in the air, gets the flip reset, and then keeps the ball high where the defender's still low. It just shows that they can play both sides of the coin. Sky can do all of that teamwork stuff to set your teammates up and get the assists and get the setup, or also has the mechanical skill to do it all single-handedly.
See Trevor, Luster, and Sky all on the attack for the CEOs. Tokyo finally getting it cleared out. 0 boost to his name. Bebo into the corner, tries to get that centered. Sink goes up for it. That kind of floats through. Sky finally knocking it to midfield. Trevor centers it up as that goes back into the corner. I thought that was going to be right in front of the goal for Sky to go after. Bebo playing it along the wall. Again, utilizing a lot of boost. You see the boost control right now. The CEOs are not just holding a boost control. It's that they're playing very efficient with their boost. And that is an example of it right there. You see Sky has 100 boost, but instead of utilizing a ton of boost, he just plays the little touch. I mean, he just kind of plays a little touch and throws it over the defender to put the CEOs up by 4 with 2:08 remaining in this game.
Yeah, put a little finesse on that one, and the last defender, Sink, coming across, just couldn't get a nose on it in time, and answer right back. I mean, this is everything, this guy. It's everywhere, and just there's no answer the Watcher Leaguers have had. That's what I'm talking about in the first 10 seconds, getting the goal while everyone's trying to get their boost, trying to get in rotation. Nobody's there, nobody's home, because they're just not yet in that position. And if the panic wasn't setting in the last game, that all of a sudden the series potentially on the line, being down 5-0, just past the halfway point, the CEOs really don't have to do anything. They can play passively, they can play the clock. The Watcher Leaguers have to just start to full send. Like, you're already thinking about pulling the keeper.
As Luster rotates back for the CEOs, he plays it off the wall right behind his goal. Look at him redirect that in the air with the boost. He picked up that full boost right in front of the goal, and now Trevor clearing it out. The defense, the rotations, the communication right now is rather impressive by the SHS CEOs. And now Sink with a shot on goal, gets one back for the Watcher Leaguers, and that is something that they needed to just slow the momentum down of the CEOs, who have had 5 unanswered goals in this game alone, not to mention the goals that they scored last game. 4 unanswered goals last game. So that was a big goal for Sink and the Watcher Leaguers. And with 126 remaining, there are still hopes alive for the Watcher Leaguers and the number 1 seed as they look to push this to a game 5. But they've got 4 goals to go in order just to get to extra time with about 70 seconds remaining.
Yeah, the time dwindling, it makes things more and more concerning, and they're already doing that. They did that on the last goal where they pulled the keeper. You see all 3 players just challenging, and Sky at this point, as well as the other team, I mean Luster and Trevor both, just holding possession, maintaining possession. They're not really doing anything. They're just holding on to the ball and forcing the Watcher Leaguers to try to come take it from them. They're playing the clock because they know time is on their side. They don't have to do anything else.
You see Trevor just kind of getting in the way and then holding it in the corner. I mean, that is just textbook clock eating right there. As Sky all the way back, plays it off the wall, 30 seconds to go. And you kind of get the feeling right now that the CEOs recognize that this is going to be their championship. As Sky with the shot, that banks in to put 1 more goal on the board for him, and I'm pretty sure he scored all 6 goals this game for the CEOs. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do you think he called bank on that?
If he didn't, it didn't count. But it's a great start and finish here for the CEOs. Certainly did not expect such a commanding performance after a very close game number one. The CEOs really upped the intensity, upped the momentum going into the next one. That last goal, 20 seconds left, and that's the GG's already in the chat. And they're just holding on to this one to take out a 4-0 sweep. And Sky, a nice little early birthday celebration. Got a birthday in 11 days, and what better way to celebrate than scoring all 6 goals in the last game to give yourself a championship?
And you gotta say congratulations to the SHS CEOs to be your Play versus High School Rocket League MSAA champions for this season. I mean, Sky just absolutely putting on a clinic of how to play Rocket League, how to get those aerial redirects. And Caribou, what I enjoyed so much about this series in particular was that these teams between the Wachu Leaguers and the CEOs, the Wachu Leaguers, honestly, they were young. It's their first season. And to be in a championship game, that gives them the opportunity to come back next season and really show up and learn from this.
And all of a sudden now looking at, how all these teams got here, looking at the final of this road in a 4-0 sweep of the championship. Like you said, the Wachu Leaguers, new kids on the block. This is their first time around, but they had a phenomenal regular season, going 24-4, 8-0 in all their series. This is a team that has had a high pedigree of success in their first season, making it to the championship game. Nothing to scoff at by any means. And just the youth of them, I mean, there's only one senior, I believe, on their roster, that they're going to be right back with a similar roster next time, and you can expect similar levels of success.
Absolutely. As again, we would like to congratulate the SHS CEOs, the 3rd seed coming into this on their championship in the MSAA. And you got to just simply hats off to how well they commanded those games. I mean, I look at game 2, a 5-1 win, game 3, a 4-0 win, and then wrapping things up in a commanding fashion. Sky with 6 goals. I mean, that is just a very powerful offense, and it's hard to stop that. It wouldn't matter who you are. And so congratulations to the CEOs. Again, a great best of 7 series, but it turned into just 4 quick games. And Caribou, any final thoughts on either of these teams and how they played?
I again didn't expect it to be a quick 4-game series. I thought we'd see at least a couple more out of them. I think the Wachu Leaguers just looked like they were a little slower to the draw, but I think that, in game 1, they showed glimpses of success, and I think they came in, like I said, short bursts of that. I looked for the continuation through the series, but then after that, just the way the CEOs played, they shut down everything the Wachu Leaguers wanted to do. They had them pinned backs against the wall for the next 3 games, and were able to just command and control the entire series. So yeah, hats off to the CEOs. They did a phenomenal job. And on the other side, the Wachu Leaguers, they take notes, but they'll be back.
Absolutely, they'll be back. CEOs are your champions in the MSAA Championship Final. From Play Versus, I'm the Doxology, that's Caribou, and we're going to take a break. But we'll be back with the CIF Esports Initiative Spring 2021 Championship after a break.